In 1978, the world was introduced to Cheech and Chong's cannabis-fueled brand of physical comedy in Up in Smoke. But many of their fans might not know that the duo had already been performing together for a decade. Their humor has influenced hundreds of movies and TV shows, and they're a household name in what can only be described as weed culture. But Cheech and Chong are much more than just a cloud of smoke. This pair of unlikely cult heroes went on to have numerous off-camera experiences that were almost as unbelievable as Pedro and Man's on-screen adventures. I'm your host, the Notorious Nick, here to roll up a big fatty of some Cheech and Chong stories you might not have known. We are going to peel back the curtain on Cheech and Chong, the ups, the downs, and everything in between.
Wow, that's a great idea, man.
Now, let's get into
What happened?
Fake friends? Cheech and Chong presently have slightly differing accounts on the history of their on-again, off-again relationship. In an interview, Tommy Chong once said that they got along, but were never even friends. But Cheech has been quoted saying, "We're not best friends, we're brothers. You can fight with your brother." Both indicate that it was a professional partnership that was very successful, but they eventually became interested in other opportunities.
Everybody wonders why we broke up. I'll tell you why we broke up. We got rich.
Motown high. Thomas Chong grew up in Calgary, Alberta, and was often excluded from activities with the other kids in his conservative neighborhood because of his biraciality. So he passed the time practicing guitar and watching the other kids play without him from his bedroom window. He eventually escaped to Vancouver to try to make it as a musician. Tommy played with numerous bands, including a soul group called Bobby Taylor and the Vancouvers, who were signed to Motown by Berry Gordy himself. Their tune, Does Your Mama Know About Me, made it to number 29 on the R&B charts. The song was co-written by Chong and was about the controversial topic of interracial relationships. Dodge and weave. The early 60s was a tumultuous time. The horrors of the Vietnam War spurred a sizable political and cultural counterculture. Cheech Marin was very active in this underground counterculture scene at his school and actively protested the United States' conflict in Vietnam. Cheech wanted no part in the draft, and with the help of his pottery teacher, Cheech fled to the mountains of Canada and worked as a potter's apprentice to escape the draft.
Yeah, come on, man, get me out of here, man. People are nuts.
Cheech and Chong gone wild. It was around that same time that Tommy Chong was fired by the Vancouvers and started developing a burlesque variety show at a topless bar, influenced by the famous Chicago-based Second City improv troupe. It was risque humor for a risque crowd.
Any of you guys want to play Cinderella?
Cheech and Chong had known each other from the local music scene, but their act really developed after they realized the audiences seemed to enjoy their onstage banter more than their music. In fact, one night when they got so busy entertaining the crowd with their jokes, they never actually got around to playing any music at all. A movie with no script. Not many classic films don't have a script. I mean, it's not like there isn't dialogue, but I guess it just came from the heart. Up in Smoke was a typical day in the life of a couple of slackers who start their day looking for a joint and end it on stage making punk rock music at the Roxy, throwing a quick stop to Tijuana to accidentally pick up a van made of marijuana. There really was no official script for this story, rather meticulous storyboarding created to adapt their onstage act to film. According to Tommy Chong, the script for Nice Dreams was only 3.5 pages long. And the reason it was even that long was that they needed to obtain a budget of $1 million for each page and $500,000 for the cover. Cheech admits it was even double spaced. I guess they like to just go with the flow. High in high places. Everyone wants to party with a rock star, but the rock stars all wanted to party with Cheech and Chong. Tommy Chong has reported getting high with every Beatle except for Paul. This is kind of ironic, cause Chong reports that Paul was the only true pothead of the group. He also mentions frequently partying with NBA Hall of Famer Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and film legend and governor Arnold Schwarzenegger. Their commitment to physical fitness and athletic prowess made Chong feel safe in his choice to regularly smoke pot. And Tommy believes that Kareem's career was even prolonged by several years due to his pot use. On the other hand, Chong had a lot of rules about his pot use, such as never smoking the stuff that other people brought to the party and staying away from heavier drugs. He has specifically talked about Jimi Hendrix's premature death due to heroin, as well as his friend Sly Stone's well-known cocaine habit. Chong has made a lot of controversial claims about the health benefits of regular marijuana use, and speaks with pride of his 5th place finish on Dancing with the Stars at the age of 76. Chong stated, quote, "This old stoner waltzed right by professional athletes because of the marijuana."
It relaxes the brain, and it allows the brain to do its job, which is to dream.
Tensions between the duo. Like any great band, this comedy duo had their share of ups and downs, both professionally and personally. It wasn't all just laughing and getting stoned. In fact, the duo has frequently reported that their relationship was largely professional. No one could deny that they had great chemistry on stage and on screen, but many of their viewers would be surprised to learn that they didn't also spend their evenings together getting stoned on the couch. Even though the films and music were entertaining and fun, at the end of the day, it was a job for Cheech and Chong. Cheech said that backstage tension was common, but that they could turn it off like a switch when it came time to go on stage. He told the New York Post, quote, "We could be having a knockdown, drag out off stage, and we'd walk on stage and the rhythm would be there. It never affected us." One of the key sources of tension between the duo, aside from the daily grind of writing and performing, was Tommy Chong's ego, which reportedly began spiraling out of control.
I got to be a bit of a megalomaniac, when it came to the movies.
Even though Lou Adler is officially listed as the director of Up in Smoke, Tommy Chong is generally regarded as the uncredited director of the film. He also went on to be the director of the remaining films. In the early days, Cheech and Chong developed most of their material together, but the give and take of their early work wasn't happening as much, and Cheech was getting frustrated. He was beginning to feel like he was just another actor, and that his ideas were being used less frequently, or simply ignored altogether. In subsequent years, Tommy Chong has acknowledged that his ego was getting in the way, and admitted that directing affects your personality because you're God. The final straw was when Tommy declined to participate in the filming of the Born in East LA music video.
I was born in East LA.
And after being stood up by Tommy, Cheech accepted a deal to develop the video into a feature-length solo project. And after one final argument, the duo officially disbanded in 1985. Tommy was offered a cameo role in the feature and refused. Tommy Chong felt betrayed at the time, but now admits that the partnership had run its course. The separation also eventually led to his return to stand-up comedy and his role as Leo in That 70s Show. Cheech was cast as Inspector Joe Dominguez, opposite Don Johnson in the very popular TV series Nash Bridges. He has also voiced numerous animated characters and regularly appears in Robert Rodriguez's action films. The duo eventually reconciled and began making appearances together again. They had both achieved success on their own, but couldn't ignore the fact that audiences kept asking for them to get the band back together. Both reported that the return to work was initially tense, but that they had picked up right where they left off. Dreams turned to nightmares. In the 1990s, Tommy Chong and his family launched Nice Dreams Enterprises, an online retailer of glass pipes and other paraphernalia. Adult novelty shops, frequently known as head shops, have been operating for decades in the United States and Europe, and Nice Dreams was operating in Canada and apparently paying taxes on all sales. Unfortunately, Chong's business got the attention of U.S. Attorney General John Ashcroft, who launched a wide-scale investigation known known as Operation Pipe Dreams. There were federal laws in place that made it illegal to ship smoking paraphernalia across state lines, and Chong was arrested after federal agents in Pittsburgh ordered products from Chong's website. Attorneys for the actor claim that Ashcroft chose to prosecute Chong for the publicity value. In the post-9/11 Patriot Act world, tensions were running high, and Ashcroft had a reputation for aggressively prosecuting drug-related crimes. There aren't too many public figures in the world of drug crimes. Was Chong an obvious target for a high publicity case? Tommy Chong had no previous convictions, but agreed to plead guilty in 2002 to conspiring to distribute drug paraphernalia in exchange for immunity from prosecution for his wife and son. He had to take a hiatus from That 70 Show in order to serve his 9-month prison sentence, and was the only one of the 55 people convicted in the operation to actually serve time in prison. Legendary lockdown. Tommy served his time at Taft Minimum Security Prison in California and reported that he received a hero's welcome from the inmates and was frequently asked for photos and autographs by the guards. Amazingly, he was cellmates with Jordan Belfort, the author and subject of Martin Scorsese's controversial 2013 film, The Wolf of Wall Street. The two became fast friends. They both shared a passion for writing and storytelling, and the two would spend many evenings just exchanging crazy stories.
Cocaine out on plates, dishes of Quaaludes.
And Belfort even encouraged Chong to write a book of his own, which he did, The I Chong, Meditations from the Joint. The two remain friends but don't get to hang out very often because neither one of them is allowed to associate with known felons. Major bummer. The Big C. Tommy Chong has been a long-time advocate for the health benefits of cannabis and was diagnosed with prostate cancer after his release. He claims that the prison was built over a toxic waste dump and was totally healthy when he went in, but he claims to have successfully treated his cancer with hash oil. Unfortunately, he was later diagnosed with colorectal cancer and sought more conventional treatment. Thankfully, he is currently cancer-free. High art. Did you know that Cheech Marin is a very serious art collector? I'm not talking about doodles made when everyone was smoking the ganj. I'm talking about a serious art collection. Cheech is one of the top collectors of Mexican and Mexican-American art in the United States. And the Cheech Marin Center for Chicano Art is scheduled to open in Riverside, California in 2021. Yet another contribution to the culture of society. So what have we learned? Yes, Cheech and Chong had a lot of crazy adventures in their movies, but we're willing to bet that you probably had some adventures of your own that would be perfect for one of their movies. Drop us a comment and tell us your favorite stories. And tell us what you want to know about next. If you dug the video, like and subscribe for us. But for now, that's it, man. That's what happened.